Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to episode 93 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find this episode and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. If you have any opinions on everything that's going on in the Detroit sports world, call in or send a text message live on the show at 231-429-3668. Also, you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips, online at facebook.com/Phil1DT with 2 L's. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group, and follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. First off, I want to send a heavy heart to Fox Sports Detroit studio reporter Lindsey Hayes, and she's also a correspondent, sideline correspondent. She has announced that she is moving on to a different show on Fox Sports Detroit. Some people thought that she was moving on to Fox Sports North, including Matt Derry, but they're wrong again. I thought Lindsey Hayes did a tremendous job doing all her work, and she looked very attractive every time she did her work. She's a total jewel in Detroit sports broadcasting. I'm gonna miss her doing broadcasts on Fox Sports Detroit. And I want to send a heavy heart to her. Lindsey Hayes was a sports reporter that was never criticized, or at least rarely. But she was going to be the future, the bright future of Fox Sports Detroit's broadcast team. But now that she's no longer doing this, that she's no longer doing that, Fox Sports Detroit, in my opinion, is going to get even worse. It's not going to get any brighter. All they have left is the only three bright stars of the Fox Sports Detroit broadcast team that remain are John Keating, Matt Shepard, and Justin White. But mostly we have to deal with this slob, Mickey York, who does most of the post-game work for Fox Sports Detroit, and he's stupid and he's a pathological liar. He was 100% wrong on Gustav Nyquist about more than a month ago, and he should have been fired immediately at that time. Trevor Thompson last Friday night performed horribly, as he always does. He even forgot to promote the final take. He forgot to announce it. Because he decided not to do it, and after the Red Wings easily beat the Blackhawks 4-1, and I wanted the final take. Trevor Thompson is the epitome of poor television production on Fox Sports Detroit. I want both Mickey York and Trevor Thompson fired. Better late than never. I want them fired now. I don't ever want them coming back to broadcast another show again. Ever again. They're dumb and they're horrible. Period. I like John Keating and Matt Shepard and Justin White, but Mickey York and Trevor Thompson have to go. What we got? Let's get to some business, some big business here. Speaking of Lindsey Hayes and Matt Shepard, they were part of the broadcast team that covered the Pistons Grizzlies game. Memphis came out on top 95-88. They improved to 9-1. The Pistons dropped to 3-7. Zachary Gasol scored 23 points to lead the team in scoring. And Zach Randolph picked up a huge double-double, 17 points and 22 rebounds, including a career-high 13 on the offensive glass. Mike Conley scored 18, and Courtney Lee had 12 for the Grizz. Kyle Singler led Detroit with 27 points, shooting 5 of 7 from three-point range. Greg Monroe had a double-double of 16 points and 11 rebounds, while Brandon Jennings scored 14 and Josh Smith scored just 11. Detroit still shot 42%, which was below average, and Memphis made just 37%. Stan Van Gundy said after the game, quote, our guys are developing toughness. We certainly have to get better. It's different things every night. It's a consistency issue, unquote. Van Gundy said once in his post-game interview that his defense is getting better. Well, in general, I'm going to have to agree, but after tonight's game, I'm going to have to disagree with him. Because this past Friday, the Pistons gave up just 89 points to the Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC. And then they gave up, and then just a few hours ago, they gave up 95 points to the Grizzlies in Memphis. I don't consider that improvement on defense, Stan Van Gundy. I'm just letting you know that. This is just a correction. I don't mean any disrespect to you. You're a great coach. Even though you've never won an NBA championship ring, Pistons take on the Magic at the Palace Monday at 7:30. Victor Oladipo is returning for the Magic from an injury, so expect the Pistons to be tested by Orlando in Auburn Hills, back in the state of Michigan. But I agree with Stan Van Gundy's one statement where the Pistons are developing toughness and have to get better. They have to pull everything together. Great defense, great offense, great rebounding. I thought that mostly the rebounding was not there the past two games, including earlier tonight. The Pistons certainly have to get better in rebounding, especially on the defensive glass. And even on the offensive glass as well. Moving on to Michigan State football, the Spartans crushed the Maryland Terrapins on the road, 37-15. That win was almost easy. A 12th ranked team taking on an unranked team on the road. The Spartans improved to 8-2. Overall and 5-1 in Big Ten action by taking advantage of 4 Terrapins turnovers, holding Maryland to 6 yards rushing and controlling the ball for 37 minutes and 32 seconds. R.J. Williamson intercepted a pass from C.J. Brown, the quarterback for the Terrapins. That pass was tipped by Taiwan Jones, and that helped begin to put the game away for MSU. It was a 22-yard pick six, in fact, to give the Spartans a 23-6 lead with 1:06 left in the third quarter. Jeremy Langford rushed for 69 of his 138 yards in the fourth quarter, including a 25-yard touchdown dash with 7:06 left in the fourth. In the game, that made it 30-7. The Terps' late touchdown came on a 31-yard pass from Brown to Juwan Winfrey with 4:07 left. Maryland tacked on a 2-point conversion pass to close the scoring. But the Spartans iced it with a Nick Hill 33-yard touchdown run with 3:15 left. 2 plays after, Aaron Burbridge just barely recovered an onside kick. Maryland got its first half score when Daniel Adams reeled in a 20-yard pass from Brown with 8:46 left in the first half to cut the MSU lead to 9-7. The Spartans return home next week when they'll play host to Rutgers, 6-4 overall and 2-4 in the Big Ten. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights in the Spartans' final home game of the season. And I think that's the final game of the regular season as well. Jeremy Langford played his 14th straight game with 100 or more yards rushing against Big Ten opponents. Michael Geiger went 3 of 4 in field goal attempts. He had a 22-yarder, a 34-yarder, and a 35-yarder. And then he missed on a fourth attempt. McGarrett Kings turned in a 50-yard catch and run, reeling in a pass from Cook on a crossing route on 3rd and 8 at the MSU 13. That play led to Geiger's second field goal of the night and a 6-0 first quarter lead. Keith Mumphrey caught a quick pass, shook off a tackle, and raced 62 yards to the Maryland 3-yard line to set up the Spartans' first touchdown. Again, I thought it was an easy win overall. The Spartans' defense came back and bounced back after a humiliating loss at home to the Ohio State Buckeyes, where the Spartans' defense disappeared. But they came back, like I said. That's all I have for MSU football. It's going on. Let's check and see what went down at Kelly Short Stadium in Mount Pleasant between the Central Michigan Chippewas and the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. The Chips held on to beat the Redhawks 34-27. Chips improved to 7-4 overall and 5-2 in the Mid-American Conference, while Miami drops to 2-9 overall and 2-5 in the MAC. Quarterback Cooper Rush for CMU threw 3 touchdown passes to wide receiver Titus Davis and freshman Devon Spalding, who came off the bench to run 147 yards and 2 scores Saturday combined. Miami, Ohio quarterback Andrew Hendricks threw for 369 yards, the most by a CMU opponent this season, and 2 touchdowns to keep the Redhawks in it right to the very end and beyond. Cooper Rush, who completed 16 of 23 passes for 218 yards, tossed a game-winning 9-yard touchdown pass to Titus Davis with 10 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. To put the Chips ahead 34-27 for good. Titus Davis finished with 8 catches for 102 yards. His 3 touchdown receptions tied the CMU single-game mark. In other words, he has scored 3 touchdown receptions before. The Redhawks, after a pass interference penalty, which automatically put them on the 2-yard line in CMU territory, had like 6 chances at a game-tying drive, but yet they failed. It took another pass interference penalty, and then after 4 downs, another pass interference penalty, Justin Cherokee made a sack back to the 9, and 4 incompletions later, the game was over. Devon Spalding, back to him, wound up with 154 yards and 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago in a 38-7 win at Eastern Michigan. I thought the Chippewas shot themselves in the foot a few times, letting the Redhawks hang around. I think that depending the matchups and the matchup records and the statistics, I thought that should have been a rout win for CMU instead of a close game. But with that win was the 7th for the Chips for the first time since 2009, when they won the MAC championship and the GMAC Bowl championship. Now recapping the Eastern Michigan Eagles, speaking of them, and the Western Michigan Broncos, who will play the Chips at Kelly Short Stadium, I think. Let me check the schedule. Yeah, it's at Kelly Short Stadium at 1. Next Saturday at 1 on the Chippewa Sports Network from IMG, presented by Fabiano Brothers, Don Shido and Brock Gutierrez. On the call with Jim Costa, Jim Cold Cut Casa as their sideline reporter. And my current WMHW Morrock Radio 91.5 sports broadcasting director. Hiya, Jim. Nice job again today, as always. Now a recap of the Eagles and Broncos. Zach Terrell passed for 357 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Western Michigan Broncos completely dismantled the Eastern Michigan Eagles 51-7 in a Mid-American Conference clash at Waldo Stadium. Terrell completed 17 of 19 passing for 357 yards and the 4 scores, half of which went to receiver Daniel Braverman in the win for Western Michigan, 7-3 overall, and 5-1 in the MAC. The Broncos have won 5 consecutive games dating back to October 11th. Terrell added a rushing score in the win, giving him 5 total touchdowns in the game. Reginald Bell completed 14 of 22 passing for 283 yards. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions for Eastern Michigan, who falls to 2-8 overall and 1-5 in the MAC. They dropped 4 straight decisions. Bell's lone touchdown went to Bronson Hill, who had 1 reception for 76 yards and 29 rushing yards on 8 carries. The Broncos owned the first quarter against Eastern Michigan, and the scoring started right away. Darius Phillips got the game started with a 93-yard kickoff return touchdown just 12 seconds into the contest to give the Broncos an early 7-0 lead. Terrell then went to work. He completed a 54-yard touchdown pass to Corey Davis with 7:58 left in the first quarter for the 14-0 advantage, and then hit Braverman on an 11-yard scoring completion with 4:56 remaining for the 21-0 WMU lead. His third touchdown pass of the opening frame went to Jarvion Franklin for 54 yards with a minute and 27 still on the clock in the first quarter. Andrew Haldeman Andrew Haldeman's extra point try missed, so the Broncos led the Eagles 27-0 at the end of the first quarter. Terrell kept the ball himself to start the second quarter when he snuck in a 1-yard touchdown with 12-13 remaining for the 34-0 lead. Darion Chance gave his Broncos the 41-0 lead with a 1-yard touchdown run of his own with 5:11 left in the first half. The run capped off a 9-play, 56-yard drive. Terrell found Braverman again for a touchdown connection, this time with 43 seconds left in the second quarter. The 13-yard hookup gave the Broncos a 48-0 advantage as the teams win at halftime. Haldeman booted through a 31-yard field goal with 5:39 to play in the third quarter to give the Broncos a 51-0 edge. Eastern Michigan finally got on the board when Bell connected with Hill for a 76-yard scoring completion with 4:03 left to play in the third frame. The Eagles still trailed 51-7, which is how the game would eventually end. Western Michigan had the advantage over Eastern Michigan in first downs 21 to 15, rushing yards 137 to 92, passing yards 360 to 283, and total offensive yards 497 to 375. The Broncos only committed one penalty in the game compared to 8 for EMU. So both the Chippewas and Broncos are going to test each other in Mount Pleasant at CMU inside Kelly Short Stadium at 1. Who do you think will win this game? CMU this next game, CMU or WMU? Give me your thoughts at 231-429-3668. Call in or text on the show 231-429-3668. Moving on to college basketball, the Michigan Wolverines came up with a 92-68 win over Hillsdale College at Chrysler Arena to kick off their 2014-15 college basketball regular season. Did the men? Junior guard Karis LeVert stuffed the stat sheet with 20 points, a career-high 9 assists, and 8 rebounds for the University of Michigan men's basketball team, the Wolverines, ranked 24th in the AP, 23rd by ESPN and USA Today, in its 92-68 season-opening victory over Hillsdale College on Saturday afternoon. The Chargers, in front of a sellout crowd at Chrysler Center, the Wolverines received their 2013-14 Big Ten championship rings, the outright regular season championship rings, and raised the banner before tip-off. Sophomore guard Derek Walton Jr. led Michigan with a career-high 22 points and 4 assists on 5 of 8 shooting, and he made 9 of his 10 attempts at the free throw line. His classmate Zach Irvin finished with 21 points, blackjack, on 8 of 12 shooting, making 3 of his 6 attempts from three-point land. Today was also the first U of M game that featured 3 20-point scores since December 10th, 2011. Hillsdale took an early lead after consecutive three-pointers by Stedman Lowry and a Kyle Cooper dunk made the score 10-2 less than 4 minutes into the game. Michigan was off to a slow start. Michigan countered with 2 straight triples from Irvin and LeVert, and then Walton knocked down another 3 to tie the score at 15 and forced Hillsdale to call timeout at the 12:48 mark of the first half. The Wolverines took the lead when freshman guard forward Cameron Chapman stole the ball and went coast to coast to make the score 23-21 at 8:59 left, and then they stayed ahead for the rest of the game. Up 26-24, U of M scored 8 unanswered points to go up 34-24, including 3 straight steals that led to easy transition baskets. Hillsdale stopped the run with a layup, but Michigan responded with consecutive threes by Levert and Irvin to bring its lead to 40-26 with 4:31 left before halftime. Levert and Irvin hit back-to-back triples again, and then the former made a steal and threw down a double pump slam to put the Maize and Blue up 48-28 with 1:35 remaining before the break. Michigan headed it into the intermission up 50-33. The Wolverines shot 17 of 33 from the floor, 51.5% in the first frame, and went 9 of 14, 64.3% from 3. The Chargers connected on 14 of 27 field goals, 51.9% before halftime, and made 5 of 11, 45.5% from beyond the arc. Levert and Irvin yet led U of M with 13 first half points, while Walton was right behind them with 11 points of his own. Hillsdale scored 8 straight early in the second half to bring the score to 59-49 and forced Michigan to call timeout at 14:18 left in the game. The Wolverines ended the run with an old-fashioned three-point play by freshman forward Ricky Doyle. Then 6 minutes later, Walton knocked down a three from the corner to put U of M 75-60 with 7:27 left in the game. The Maize and Blue ended the game shooting 30 of 58, 51.7%, making 11 of its 19 three-point attempts, 57.9%. Hillsdale made 27 of 58 field goals, 46.6%, and shot 10 of 23, 43.5.5% from long distance. The Wolverines out-rebounded the Chargers 35-28 and only turned the ball over 6 times compared to Hillsdale's 14 giveaways. Kyle Cooper led all scorers with 28 points on 11 of 19 shooting. The Maize and Blue returns to action against Bucknell on Monday night, November 17th, inside Chrysler Center as part of the Legends Classic. Tip-off is scheduled for 8 p.m. and the game will be televised on BTN, the Big Ten Network. Now to some Lions. They take on the Cardinals at 4:25 on Fox this Sunday. Lions are 7-2, Cardinals 8-1. Lions coming off a 20-16 win over the Miami Dolphins in thrilling fashion. The Cardinals beat the Rams 31-14 in their last contest. The Cardinals lost their star quarterback Carson Palmer for the rest of the season to an ACL tear. So they have to play with Drew Stanton, their backup quarterback, a former Detroit Lion backup quarterback, and former Michigan State Spartans starting quarterback from 2003 to 2006. Only 614 yards passing by Stanton compared to Matthew Stafford's 2,496. Ellington with 582 rushing yards to George Bell's 357. Reggie Bush is out with his ankle injury. Golden Tate has collected 909 receiving yards this year over Larry Fitzgerald's 625. The Lions have a number one scoring defense compared to the Cardinals' 5th ranked scoring defense. The Cardinals have outscored the Lions offensively 223-182 until Carson Palmer got injured for the rest of the season. Offensive yards per game, Lions 340.1, Cardinals 330.9. The Lions have the second rushing defense in the NFL, 1.3 yards per game. The Cardinals have the number 3 rushing defense in the NFL, 78.6 yards per game. Eric Ebron and Joseph Fourier at tight end are listed as probable. Rookie Travis Swanson will replace Larry Warford, who was ruled out for a few weeks. Adrian Waddle out as well. I am, however, getting an update on T.J. Jones, their rookie wide receiver, who returned to practice for the first time in 5 months today, a few hours ago, and that's a good sign. I will post it on Taylor's Detroit Sports page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page right now on Facebook. As long as I wait for it to finish loading. I'm going to predict the Lions to win in overtime. (34-27). I have other articles about the Lions to share on my sports page, on my Detroit Sports page, as soon as I wrap this up. And finally, the Red Wings, after easily handling the Chicago Blackhawks 4-1 this past Friday night at Joe Louis Arena, they welcome in the Montreal Canadiens, the first place Montreal Canadiens, at 13-4-1. The Red Wings are 8-3-5. 7 o'clock puck drop on Fox Sports Detroit. Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond are gonna call the game as usual. The Montreal Canadiens have won their past 3 games against the Detroit Red Wings, including a 2-1 overtime victory at Bell Center on October 21st. David Desjardins scored the game winner 56 seconds into the extra period. Canadiens Team Scope, Montreal's power play, which had scored all of the 4 goals in the Canadiens' first 17 games, came alive against the Philadelphia Flyers on Saturday. The Canadiens scored 3 times with the extra man, and these goals made the difference in a 6-3 victory that extended their winning streak to 5 games. Defenseman P.K. Subban, who had one of the 3 power play goals that put the Canadiens up 3-0 in 6:17 of the second period, said, quote, "Obviously, we like to get the power play going like that every night, but that's not the case. We know that there was a lot of panic and a lot of talk about it as the season started, but for us in this room, we know that we have the personnel to execute on the power play, and I think that showed Saturday," unquote. Red Wings Team Scope. Detroit is 2-0-1 entering the finale of a 4-game homestand and is coming off one of its best efforts of the season, a 4-1 victory against the Chicago Blackhawks on Friday that improved its record at Joe Louis Arena to 6-1-2. The Red Wings have been getting a lot of production from their 4th line of Luke Glendening with his backhand wrister past Corey Crawford, making it 1-0. Drew Miller and Joachim Anderson. Glendening had a goal and an assist against Chicago. Miller and Anderson each had an assist. Jimmy Howard, their goaltender, said, quote, some nights that they've been on our best line. Some nights they've been our best line, whether it's shutting down the other team's top lines or getting on the forecheck and just grinding teams. Unquote. The Canadiens have 25 points. The Wings have 21. Not only is it a game for revenge, it's a huge game. The Canadiens are the top dog, but the Red Wings are creeping up already for the top spot in the Atlantic Division and in the Eastern Conference as well. If the Wings win in regulation, they get even closer, just two points away. They're 4 points away right now, but if the Wings beat the Canadiens in regulation, then they'll be winning in 2 points. And the Wings will have to bring their A game against the Montreal Canadiens. They'll have to keep playing hard defense like they did against the Hawks. They'll also have to bring their offensive A game as well against Carey Price and not get into the crease like Justin Advocator did in their last meeting in Montreal to score goals the way they did against Chicago. And get their power play, and the Wings should get their power play cooking again too. It still hasn't improved much yet, as far as I'm concerned. But, Carey Price initiated the contact.
Not what I want to hear. What's your problem there, pal? Can't a guy get a bit of sleep? Don't bug me.
Enough of that already. That's the past. That was like a month ago. It's time for revenge, and it's time for 2 huge points to catch up for the top spot. That's going to do it for Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 93 on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio. Special heavy heart and lots of love go out to Fox Sports Detroit reporter Lindsey Hayes. I wish her the best and good luck on our new show on Fox Sports Detroit or wherever she is, possibly on her different show on Fox Sports Detroit. I'll be back on Blog Talk Radio Sunday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, and then back here on Spreaker Monday night after the let's see what's happening on Tuesday here. Lots of stuff happening every day, so Michigan's taking on Bucknell at 8. Pistons take on the Magic at 7:30. Eastern Michigan takes on Oakland at 7. Detroit Mercy takes on Oregon at 11 p.m. So that's gonna. So after the Michigan game, I'll be on the air on Spreaker for episode 94 on Taylor's Detroit Sports. Till then, this is Taylor Phillips, thanking you for downloading and listening, and saying TTFN, ta-ta for now.